What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Popular Culture. This episode, we are talking about the finale
of Agatha All Along.
Yeah, and guys...
Down.
Dial down?
The Witch's Road.
Down, the Witch's Road.
Down the Witch's Road.
And that being said, I'm Chris.
And I'm Rico.
And we're going to jump right into this episode.
Poppin' with the culture, pop it like it's hot. Poppin' with the culture, pop it like it's hot.
Keep it real, man, I'm still winter comic book game. Winter comic book game. Winter comic book game.
Agatha, let's recap it. I don't really want to go episode by episode. Let's just give it an overall review.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, let's just start by, I had no idea where this was going. Which...
I was definitely like, left turn.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, that whole thing. That's like one of those revelations, like those movies are like at the end. Mm-hmm. It was like, what was it? Deadly Seven, whatever. One of those thriller movies where it's like at the end you show like the whole recap.
Like an M. Night
Shyamalan Ding Dong video.
Shyamalan Ding Dong.
One of his movies where it's like the total revelation the last like 2 minutes. I was like, but this was like, you get it like the second to last episode, the revelation of what the Witch's Road was. I was like, what? Mind blown. As my kid would be like, mind blown. Every time he says that, I'm like, just stop it. Anyway.
I don't know. Like, when I watched the first episode, I remember telling you, I was like, why is the acting so bad? But then she was basically enchanted with a spell. So that wasn't even really her. That was her acting to be a deadbeat cop. Which, brought some humor and reeled me back into the show. And then we got to meet the teen. And we got to meet the rest of the witches. And then we get on the road. And I don't remember, which I thought was Enchantress, which ends up being Death. Whole time I thought she was Enchantress. Mm-hmm. Come to find out, obviously she's Death. Yeah. And that still threw me for a loop. Like, I feel like Disney wanted her to play two roles just to fit a full cast of witches. Maybe they had a budget and they couldn't get a,
No, I think it was like one of
person.
those twists and turns. It's like, look over here, meanwhile over here is doing something else. And, they were switching it up as far as, and to come around to find out what, because at the beginning they even say that like, oh, she's a green witch with a capital G. You know? And she was like, and then when she said it, like, I'm a green witch, because that was like the green witch is like the evolution or like the transitional properties of life and death, like where she at one point she's holding a flower and a knife, so the flower is life, the knife is death, showing those different things.
So could that
symbolism?
So. The symbology. So what's the symbology of this?
You mean the symbolism?
Symbolism.
I love
great movie. Boondocks. What a great movie.
Right.
Well, so does that mean that's obviously we can say that's Death, right?
Yes.
So is she in cahoots with Thanos?
Well, no, she's never in cahoots with Thanos. Thanos is always courting Death, and Death is like, that's nice, but that's another thing where she just like the whole time was like, she really was looking for him to die at the end of it. Like I think in the recent comic book, he winds up killing all these people, and she's like, I'm still not. He's like, I'm still not happy, or it was like really was for him to die. Mm-hmm. But we're going off topic here.
Well, I do like how they played every episode as a trial. Mm-hmm. It gave every episode purpose, and every episode began and ended with moving towards the next trial or next episode.
Yeah, towards the end.
And I don't really like it when you have one subject matter in multiple episodes. It's like, come on. Like I feel like the whole week has gone by. To them, it's like only minutes has gone by. But no, like I like how they made it where every week we got a new day, a new dilemma, a new problem, and a new solved problem to move forward. I really enjoyed that. It made me feel like the show didn't drag. Mm-hmm. It made me feel like there was progression. And I'm not a big fan of just lingering stories where it's like, all right, well, what do we do from here? So let's just have multiple monologues to fill time, and then at the last episode we have this huge battle and this huge conquest, and then poof, it's done. It's like, well, you could have done that in one episode and gave me more story. And I feel like Agatha All Along was a good storyteller's type of movie.
Yeah, there was
a show.
Yeah, there was a lot going into it, and like how it was told, in those compartmentalized stories of like each trial, and the fact that you were talking about like earlier when you were talking about like the bad acting, you come to realize that every time she's over the top, she's not telling the truth. Anytime she's like very down to earth, she's being honest. She's being honest with Teen or Wiccan. She's being honest with the Coven. Anytime she's like, well, this and that, and that's she was not being truthful, and that was hard to tell to say that that was giving a reason why she was doing or portraying that character in those different manners.
What did you feel about the other witches throughout the show, instead of just Agatha? Like I feel like Agatha was just a piece to that puzzle. Yeah. Like those other witches, they all had their moments. They all had their limits, and then also their inner objectives throughout the episode.
I think my other favorite person, the other favorite witch, was Jen.
Jen.
She was the potions master.
The one that lived?
Yes.
Did you know she's a comedian? And pretty funny. I did not know that till like 2 days ago.
Yeah, she was on SNL.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I found her on TikTok. You can find her on TikTok. She has a page. I'm pretty sure it's cool.
Yeah. Really? Yeah. She's a comedian.
They recognize her.
Yeah. But anyway, Camilla. Finally drinking something good?
Yeah.
What are you drinking?
This is what, Doobie?
Doobie?
Excuse me? Doobie.
Which is actually our sponsor.
Doobie is our sponsor, right?
Our sponsor for this episode, right? Yeah. It's what do you guys think? So it's pretty good, right?
This is pretty good, not gonna lie.
Yeah, so we got Doobie as our sponsor now.
Sure.
Yeah, we got some cool tumbler stuff. We got Doobie tumbler and some energy drinks. It comes in 5 different energy flavors.
5 different flavors. It doesn't come in cans. It doesn't come in jars. Well, you can get them in jars,
yep.
But they come in like those water mixer packets.
Yep. Well, those the samples we got. So we got samples.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but you can get like the containers, like regular energy drink, and like you don't get any jitters. I've been drinking this for a couple days now, and I've been pretty good. I've had a lot of energy drinks in the past where I'm just like tweaking out, or I get like the tingles. You don't get any tingles with this stuff, and it mixes good with water. Sometimes you get too chalky, and this ice and water, it's good. It's straight, and it's pretty good. It's pretty flavorful.
It doesn't have a bad aftertaste.
No,
now, I'm not just talking it up.
Yeah,
I tried it for the first time, honestly, today right here on the set.
Yeah,
and I was expecting like most energy drinks, they have like that aftertaste or that chalky taste, or they just kind of like the Rojo Toro, how they have like that. It's just that carbonated.
Yeah.
No, it's just like drinking water, like drinking juice. Actually.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah, and then they also have hydration packets or hydration flavors, and those you have a lot more flavors for those. And instead of having like your Gatorade, so there's no caffeine or anything, so there's no jitters or anything, but something to give you more hydration, more than what obviously water does. So it's kind of like Gatorade, and you have more flavors for that. So guys, if you want to go over, check out Doobie. Doobie.com. Use coupon code POPThroughCulture.
Get the hookup.
We couldn't get popping. It was too long.
You got him. You gave him a hookup?
I gave him the hookup.
Oh, man. You better use it for me, guys.
Yeah, so go over there to the website, Doobie.com, and type in PopThroughCulture at your checkout for discount and help out the show with that. That being said, back into the show.
Back into the show. Man, I just want to break character and that was a kick-ass advertisement. Oh, I feel so professional with my I thought I had something on my shirt.
Yeah.
Who wears pockets anymore?
Actually, both of us are wearing like plain shirts today.
Plain Jane.
Yeah, nothing sponsored. No sponsored.
Plain Jim, whatever. But back to Agatha All Along. Overall, my favorite of this episode was the last 2. I really enjoyed the backstory of that particular witch. I'm sorry, I'm horrible with names, guys.
Which is funny, Rico, because the last few episodes on the channel here, you were like, I hate backstories. I just want the meat and potatoes.
I did. And
you're like, this is terrible. Like, I don't want to hear about it.
I'm not taking it back.
No.
I'm just saying this one.
But
this one sticks to the rib.
Yeah, it's a testament to the show and like to the storytelling that if Rico liked it for a backstory, it's pretty good, guys.
Because I always look at it like you're using backstory because you progressed the story, but at the same time there was so much going on and so much, so many things that were left unexplained. Like for example, we kept talking about, at least I know I kept mentioning that Agatha sold her firstborn son for the Darkhold. Which really, no, she didn't. I thought she did. I believe in the comic book lore she did that, but for the show, they did not. The song was actually not created by Agatha. It was created by Wiccan.
No,
it was created by her through her son. Excuse me,
Nicholas Scratch.
Yeah, and
why was he called Nicholas Scratch?
Why?
Because he was made from scratch. He was not used.
I went over my head. I didn't catch that.
Because she says I made him from scratch. There was no incantation or anything. So Nicholas Scratch. Right. And
also.
Then the reason why he wound up eventually dying is because every day she has to go or all the time, every so often, she has to take power from the witches and essentially killing them, giving souls to Death or Rio. And the day she did not do that is when he wound up going and dying and going with Rio. Gotcha.
Right? And that also brings full circle with everybody else from the Coven. They didn't trust her because they all know her. They all like all of these witches. They lived for years, hundreds of years. So they kind of dibble dabble in the same circle. And once they saw Agatha, they all had that instant like, why are you here? I don't want to talk to you nor be associated with you. And it's because she was literally killing witches. She was, come with me. I'll take you to this, holy grail of power, and really she's just gonna siphon you off and go to the next century of witches.
Yeah, it was funny how it came to be. It was basically just a rumor because he made this ballad between the two of them walking around and creating a song which like, oh, what are we gonna do, like down like. And then, what was it? It wasn't the Witches Road. It was down the Windy Road.
Windy Road, yeah.
It was down the Windy Road, which then evolved into the Witches Road, and then slowly evolved into what was the ballad. And it was basically a con.
Yeah.
It was a big con.
Yeah.
Where she lured all these witches, and it was like, oh, you want to see the road? And she was like, oh, you suck! How dare you! Like, I wasted my time. And then they, basically cursed them out and goaded them on and trolled them. And it was like, oh, I'm gonna shoot all my power on you. And then she's like, psych! It's like the big witch con.
Yeah.
Witch con should be a good convention. But anyway,
witch con? Oh my goodness. That'd be pretty hot. I'll go. I bet you nowadays with cosplayers.
Oh boy.
Yeah, sorry guys, had to bring that back in. Anyway. What I did not like about the show, which is maybe this is just the way it was written, but one thing I did not like about the show is I feel as though everyone's death was unjustifiable. Everyone's death was just quick. Like, like Game of Thrones, where it was just random death, because we got to wrap it up. I feel like the deaths of all the witches were pretty much similar to that. It was like one and done. There was no struggle. It was just, you're gone. The first one that passed away, that died, was
Mrs. Sharon.
Mrs. Sharon. And it was like, why? It was not explained. She was just dead. She just died.
It was explained because they didn't get the potion to her. The healing potion in time, because remember she took 2 doses of the wine.
Oh,
everyone else had 1 dose, so she needed a double dose.
Gotcha.
Of the potion, right. So that's why she wound up dying.
It was just a very quick, unexplained. Like, I feel like they used that. Well, yeah, but I just come on, man. Like, really, like they brung her in. I feel like just to. Was she even a witch?
No, she wasn't. That was the whole point.
So she was not a witch.
She was like the comedic...
the comic relief?
Comic relief, which is annoying comic relief.
So how did they open the Witch's Road without all the witches?
Because there was no Witch's Road. The Witch's Road was created by Wiccan.
I was getting to that. I was getting to that. So...
Then when they opened, it was like... What the...
But like,
if it wasn't, because that's when she was like, "Oh, you guys are terrible," this and that, because she was hoping for them to shoot the powers at her, just like the con because that's when we learned that the whole thing was a con.
Well,
And then you do the flashback of him going back in, her remembering them going to the Witch's Road.
Yeah.
And then you see her face was like, oh, like,
Well-
wait a minute, like,
Well, wait, Chris. That's what I was getting to. Like, what I was about to say is, all these deaths were untimely and without reason or
Yeah.
cause, really. But towards the end, you realize Wiccan, he manipulated this whole thing. So, was Agatha really the villain, or was Wiccan the villain? Wiccan knew by bringing these people
Wiccan all
together,
along. No, because he did it.
and then he kills everybody. Basically, not kill everybody.
No, but he does it subconsciously, because even when he goes back to this room, he realizes it was him the whole time. Just like how in WandaVision, she didn't know she was creating the
dark-
hex.
Yeah.
She didn't realize she created the hex until Agatha was like, "This is you doing this," and she's like, "No, what are you talking about? I didn't do all this." And then she had to show her, and then the runes in the basement and everything else, because she also put her own spell on what's his face, Quicksilver,
Yeah.
right? So she did that
So-
spell. So he inadvertently killed them. Like, it wasn't like I made this plan out to kill these people so I can find my brother. He made this because he heard about the ballad. He heard it. He found out about Agatha, and then with his subconscious, with all the elements in his room, you had the posters of the moon. You had the shoes, the little shoes, where the same shoes are on the road. You had the Wizard of Oz, which was a big thing. They had they're all dressed up as you had in the second to last trial. Agatha was the Wicked Witch. She was Camilla was the
I don't remember.
the Good Witch, right? So she was that witch. They were all different aspects of his subconscious from different elements in his room.
Well-
So he never really did it on purpose. He wasn't out to kill them all. He was really just trying to find his brother, and his subconscious, his power, was able to manifest
So
the road.
So then, all right. So Wanda Romanoff, she is a witch or a mutant technically, but in the MCU she's a witch.
You mixed two bits.
Yeah, I did.
mixed
Maximoff, excuse me, Wanda Maximoff. They're both hot. Sorry. Well, could imagine having oh, that's awesome. Sorry,
You okay?
no. Anyway,
Having a moment.
yeah. So you have Wanda Maximoff,
Yeah.
and she's a witch. But the more she holds on to the Darkhold, the more she reads and studies the Darkhold, she now becomes the Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch has been, they even said in Doctor Strange, the last Doctor Strange movie. Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
The Scarlet Witch is years old. So the more you read, the more she read the Darkhold, the more Scarlet Witch started to possess her. So could it be the same thing for Tommy becoming Wiccan? Wiccan is the villain. Wiccan is the one with the power. Tommy is just a vessel.
Who you mean? Well, Tommy's not in there yet.
Or not Tommy,
Billy.
but Billy.
Yeah.
He's just a vessel. Wiccan's the one that's really, if you think about it, Wiccan is the one that went into that kid's body when he got in that car accident. So that spirit or that entity knew what it needed to do to get to its mom or its brother.
It's tough to swallow that, because again, when that happened, Wiccan or Billy, because the person he inhabited was William, so to differentiate the two. Billy, he was still a kid at the time, so you can't, again, I don't think you can put too much on the fact that he's the villain or anything. He was a kid at the time. His life was poof out of nowhere because he was created out of nothing.
By dark magic.
He was created out of dark magic, but there's no indication that he's of Mephisto or at the time, because they've changed the storyline from the basic MC the Marvel Comics. So you can't say that was Mephisto because they changed the storyline so much. They changed a lot of the plot lines.
Yeah.
So that could have been just the manifestation of Wanda wanting to have a kid, and then imbuing some of her power into Wiccan, and also from Agatha from all the spells going on. So to say that flat out he's the bad guy. You know, ultimately at the end of the day, he's a kid just looking for his twin brother. You know, and subconsciously he put all this together to try to have some kind of resolution to say, I don't know where I am. You know, he was also popped into someone else's body.
Yeah.
And how many years went by when he was just trying to find himself and figure out what he was doing with his life. He went from this clean, straight edge kid to like
Wiccan.
Wiccan,
Yeah.
listening to musicals and, and
Oh my
stuff,
goodness.
and painting his nails.
Yeah.
So
So to wrap up this season, do you think we're gonna get a Agatha season 2 with him finding Tommy, or are we just gonna go into the next MCU movie with him finding Tommy, or are we gonna get like how is Tommy gonna come in? Tommy, do you think Tommy's gonna be introduced in Agatha 2 or in the MCU?
well,
Just your prediction. That's all.
in the comics, because Billy was brought up in this well put together family, he had like everything. You know, they were well off. Whereas Tommy was brought up in this broken household. He was, he went from home to home, so he had a very different lifestyle than Billy did. Like he was actually in the show, he's getting picked on. And the reason why he died was because a bunch of kids drowned him. Right? Because remember, he was looking for a family. He was like, find a child, find a vessel, find a host for Tommy to inhabit. Push Tommy into someone else.
I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, they were drowning the kid.
What?
Yeah, because the only reason Billy inhabited William was because William died in the car accident.
Yeah.
So for him to inhabit a body, he had to inhabit a host that was no longer alive. So Tommy winds up dying by being drowned by those boys when he's trying to fight and he's trying to like breathe or whatever. He was like, "Oh,
I missed that whole part."
Yeah, when they're in the room and there were the lights. Remember that part?
Yes.
And he's like,
yes.
And you see like, oh, anguish. Oh, he's hurting. He's going through all this anguish.
I didn't pick up on that though.
Yeah, he dies.
Okay.
And he pushes Tommy's essence into that boy's body to come back. So he's already living a tough life to begin with. Whereas William had a good life, or still has a good life, because he essentially goes back home. Is like, oh, I'm home, guys. You guys have been gone for 24 hours. Meanwhile, it seems like he's been gone for a couple of days. Through the show, show's time period.
Yeah.
But for them it was only 24 hours. But again, they have two different lifestyles in the comics, and it's a lot of it's still the same thing for the show. Even to the costumes, like the different elements in the costume. You have his cape is the same cape as Vision's cape, like
the inside, right?
And you have the inside. You have the runes from the runes of the in the show,
which is also in a sweater.
Sweater, yep.
So that was the galaxy on his side.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and
That's
you
cool.
have the galaxy print, which is the same print that you have in the comic books. That galaxy print, but then also like the inlays and everything. Those are different runes from Agatha and from Wanda. So,
well,
going forward, I wouldn't be surprised if they go. It was Wiccan All Along, or some kind of spin on that, or if they do Agatha 2, season 2, but now she's a ghost. So how do you do Agatha All Along as a ghost?
I think they are. I know Agatha All Along was the second highest grossing MCU Disney Plus show, right underneath Loki.
Yeah, Loki was amazing.
Right?
I still get emotional for that.
So like if they're gonna rate it right there, we're gonna get a season 2. It's just, why not?
Yeah.
And then for me, like I told you earlier, I didn't even realize that was the last episode. I watched the last 2 episodes and I'm like, all right, so we're gonna get another one this week. They can't end like that. I wasn't ready for it to end, clearly. I'm looking forward to whatever happens, maybe next October? That'd be pretty cool. They put that style of show out seasonal.
Yep.
That would be pretty dope. But how would you rate this? 1 to 10 or 1 to 5?
1 to 5. We're 1 to 5.
1 to 5. I'm going to give Agatha All Along.
I got so much time for the show.
I'll give it a 3.
A 3?
I'll give it a 3.
Really?
Yes. I gave my reasons why I give it a 3.
I gotcha.
You know, I give it a 3. I did not dislike the show. I feel as though it could have been better. I feel as though it could have been more explanatory. And once again, I did not. They ended this. There was no closure to the show, and it was just, to me, I felt like it ended it on a cliffhanger.
Let's call it a cliffhanger.
That's what. Yeah, they ended it. They ended it on a cliffhanger, but we're gonna get a conclusion or a continuation to that show a year and a half from now, maybe 2.
That's how shows work.
Dude, I'm sorry. I'm not going to invest. But in 2 years, I'm not going to be thinking about Agatha 1. And I doubt anyone's going to go back and recap every episode.
Okay.
We're going to get the 30-second recap, minute and a half, whatever it takes. But we're going to leave out all those fine detail. At least for me. What about you? You give it, like, what, a 5?
No.
Yeah, you do.
Loki is a 5. This would be a 4.
Yeah?
This would be a 4.
All right.
Because after seeing all the different elements, you know, also the set design, the costume design, everything that goes into the show. There's a lot more that goes into the show. Like, they use a lot more practical elements for the show. So I'm rating it also on the surrounding for the whole season and what it brought to the MCU, where we're going to be going into. You know, hopefully we'll be getting the next character for the Young Avengers. You know, we'll probably have Wiccan for the Young Avengers. Hopefully we'll have that kind of thing growing. Yeah. Because you also have, remember, we have Ironheart coming. She's coming. Man. She's coming. That's coming to Disney Plus soon. And there's all these different things, these building blocks. So if you take the whole show, you take it all together and put all those elements together, I can't give it anything less than a 4. And you know, any other season, any other show, you're waiting a year. You know, you're waiting a year for another season. You know, look at Game of Thrones. You look at the House of Dragons. Look at all those big shows where I think Game of Thrones went like almost 2 years without getting another season. But guess what? We all watched it.
But this difference is, think about how many episodes and how long the episodes. It probably took a year and a half to 2 years to film a season.
Yes, because their episodes were of course their episodes were an hour long.
With 20 episodes?
No,
16 at least.
It was not 16.
How many episodes you think?
I think 10 or 12.
What?
Yes.
Wrong.
Look it up.
Yeah, we need one of those. Hey Jimmy, can you look up from the Rogan show? We need one of those guys.
Rob, look it up.
Rob. There's no Rob over there.
We need. Where's Chris Parent? We need you in the background. Chris Parent. And just like yell at him.
Marvin McDonald. Ooh.
No, we want.
We want to get it done.
We want actual information.
Sorry,
like today,
I love you, bro.
Not in 6 months.
Damn. All right. Well, on that note, Agatha All Along. I'm looking forward to the next season, whenever that may happen. It was a good show overall. I'll watch it.
He's gonna watch the next season.
I'm gonna watch it. On that note,
take 10 for this outro. So this is our recap of Agatha All Along for the first season 1, and again, we look forward to season 2 whenever that comes about. Again, I am Chris,
and I am Rico,
and we are
Popping Through Culture.
He's so weird. Goodbye.
I hate editing videos.
How many videos have you edited?
I mean, like this.
How many?
1. I did 1.
Did you?
Yeah, I did 1.
Which one?
I did that one. I know I've done 1. I was here when I did it. I think I did. I didn't.